Morning all. Another Saturday morning. Here we go. Right, a few people are all in. Thank you very much, Colin. That's very kind of you. You haven't seen what I'm going to bugger up today. Morning, Leroy. Morning, Duncan. Morning, Chris. Morning, Chris. Morning, Adrian. Goodbye, Adrian. Oh, Adrian's on a mission. Morning, Lawrence. I'm flicking down here as quickly as. Thank you again, Colin. Very kind of you. Morning, Nigel. I think that's caught everybody. Morning, Tony. Morning, James. Nice out there today. I'm going to try and make this morning's demo a bit quicker because we've got something we've got to do. So try and get it to an hour-ish. You know what it's like. Hold on. Just messing around with the old iPad here for Mrs. O. There we go. iPad messed around with. Right, there. Morning, Colin. No, it's going to be a simple colouring project. For those that don't colour, we're going to get people started on... Oh, that's easy. I might have a go at that. Hi, Nick. Morning, Mark. Morning, Ian. Morning, Malcolm. What have I got in my back pocket? Oh, look at that. So I can put makeup on before we start. Eh? I don't know why I got that in my pocket. Oh, I know. I'm going to dab something on with it. Oh, good morning, Michael. The devil is one. Morning, Malcolm. Morning, Ian. Morning, Tony, if I've missed you. Morning, anybody I've missed. Morning, James. I said morning, James. Morning, James, twice. 3 times. Morning, morning. All that sort of stuff. Morning, Cyril. It's bank holiday weekend. It's going to rain. So anything you've got to do outside, get it done. Morning, Simon. Morning, Cyril. Yeah, we've got to get it done quick because it's going to pour down. Water the garden. I've got a dozen roses I've got to get in. So I'll get them in. I won't have to water them, will I? It's handy. And I've got to get the dreaded mower out, cut the grass. Oh dear. Yeah. I sort of keep an eye on the screen. Morning, Clive. Morning, Paul. Paul's a bit disillusioned. He thinks he can see everybody. Nice to see you guys. Paul, you can't see anybody else. You can only see me. I'm on the camera. No one else is here. It's just in the chat. You can talk to them. You can chat with them. You can text them. Type to them. You can't see them. Unless you've got some sort of technology we know nothing about. Quick cup of coffee. What we got? 5 minutes. We'll get going. I didn't think there'd be many people here this morning. We've got 48 of you. Morning, Mr. Carroll. I'm looking forward to your demo tomorrow night. Pat Carroll's doing his live tomorrow night with his new techie setup. I bet he hasn't got bird's nest of wires like me. If I threw a camera around, you see all these cables. I've got gantry and I've got cables dangling down everywhere. I've got to unplug them all and put my other new bit of kit in. I'm dreading it because I don't know if I know where they'll go. Maybe I'll mark them up. Morning, Christine and Michael. Morning, Steve. Morning, Hans. Morning, Mo. Morning, Anne. Morning, Lee. Yeah, Lee, they were going to go in, but it didn't happen. Lee supplied the roses, and I had plans. Pat, I'm sure. If I know you, all the cables are going to be pegged in. You won't be able to see them. When I get me other ATEM over, I can have more cameras on. I'll give you a flash with the old iPhone, because I'll be able to plug that in, and you can see what I mean. One day, I might loom them and do all that sort of stuff. I doubt it. It's a little dream, pipe dream. Morning, David. Morning, Andy. Morning, Ian. Morning, anybody I've missed while I'm waffling on, drinking me coffee. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. So how do you do that, Douglas? Type all them names in. When I go on to a live and everybody does that and they all go, morning, 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 I sort of think I'll type names in and I'll get 2 or 3 in and then I've missed a load and I think it's rude just to say hello to 3 people and not the other 10 or 20 or whatever it is. So I just said hello all. There must be a trick. Morning, Baz. Or I've got to learn to get faster on a keyboard. I've got something else in my pocket, a bit of tissue. I've got all sorts in my pockets. It's the thing with these smocks. Morning, Andrew. See, Leroy's at it now. Type all the names in. Morning, Roy. Right. Morning, Kevin. Couple of minutes, we'll get going when we say copy and paste. What you do with wallpaper, innit? Paste. Stick it on the wall. Andy Harry, stick it on the wall. Don't think I can cut and paste that quick. I'm going to try it on the next live demo I watch. See what mess I can get into there. Morning, Paul. Yeah, it'll be fun, won't it? Cut and paste all them names in. It will come up like, I don't know, hieroglyphics. Morning, Ray. Morning, Robert. Morning, all. Morning, morning. Right. A few seconds to go and we'll get going. Oh, sun's out, but it's not warm. Not warm. I had a little problem with me little box where you flick buttons. I rigged up a webcam over the Pro Edge because someone said, well, can't we see, morning Peter, can't we see the Pro Edge working? I thought I'll whip it. And when I plugged it in and went over to it, then I lost all my buttons for some reason. I think it was when I was trying to focus the camera, so there's a bit of software glitch. Anyway, let's get going. It is 10 o'clock. It is Saturday morning, Terry, and we're going to have another go. So, what we got this morning is a bit of ash, 12-inch ash, pre-bored a hole in the back so I can just use it on a socket, tenon, whatever you want to call it, and we'll whip an outside shaping. I've just noticed the obvious mistake here. Yeah, obvious mistake. That'll be alright. We'll get rid of that. I've got a couple of little cracks on the front. Just a couple of little cracks here. So that was going to be the base, and I've drilled the hole in that way. But they're only down into the wood by a couple of 3 mils, so we'll turn them away. We'll get rid of them. So we're going to turn a bowl and a simple bit of colouring. So let's come over to the old camera one, the old overhead camera, and we'll get this on here, if I find my chuck key, organised as ever. It's going to be a simple colouring project. just so people can have a bit of confidence and get started with a bit of colouring if they want to. A lot of people think it's high-techy stuff, colouring. It's only high-techy if you want to make it high-techy. That could be a good name for a company, couldn't it? itechie.com. I might register that. itechie.com. Just spin this by hand. Well, that's a little bit out. I must put my glasses on when I drill these holes. So our 12-inch blank is going to become an 11-inch blank. I'm just going to bring the tailstock up for a minute. Winding the old quill, and this will just puncture the centre and mark our true centre. That's my nearest bit, so we don't need to bring it to round, but because it's a bit out, I'm just going to bring it to round. We could start cutting this way quite quickly. So, safety glasses on. I'm not going to bother wearing my old safety face shield, but if you're standing at a lathe, put on a face shield, have a face shield on. It's quite awkward, and anybody that demonstrates knows that when you're talking over the microphones, you got a face shield on. If you've got a dust mask on, should wear a dust mask as well, then you're not going to hear what's being said. So as demonstrators, we sort of have to do certain things in certain ways. It's compromise. So we're going to turn the lathe on. Speed's right down to 0. Just advance the speed a little bit. Morning Stuart, morning anybody I've missed that has joined us. Morning John. I'm just looking up at the chat screen, seeing a few people come in. So we're just spinning it around about 500 RPM there. Tools into my side. And I'm just going to bring the cutter up. Slowly advance it along the tool rest. You'll be able to see on the camera how far out that is out of round. And just bring this through. You can't see the tool. That's because I'm hiding. Right, let's go on to there. Now, and then if we zoom this one out a little bit, there you should see the tool now. As that, right. So the handle's back towards me and the cutting edge is leaving the handle. Just feed that through the wood. And all I'm doing is keeping enough pressure on the cutting edge so that it advances as the wood in front of it is removed. Nothing difficult there. So we're coming in, and now we're round. We'll start putting in a little bit of shape into the bottom. Now, as I come round here, I just twist into the lathe, nice and gently. And because this is a bit of ash, what's going to happen, and I already see it, because I'm going the wrong way, you see I'm breaking the grain out here completely. But I'm not worried about that at the moment, because all we're doing is putting in a bit of rough shape. I'm just chopping off around about 5 mil per cut. We'll refine the shape in a minute. get a bit deeper. So we've taken a bit too much wood there. Just feeding the gouge in there. We'll turn that off, turn the tool rest round. Now I'm going to get rid of my live centre and the dreaded elbow stabber. So we'll bring that back here. Get rid of that, slide that out the way, get rid of the point. Keep your live centre into your wood as long as you can, realistically, is the real thing with turning. The more support you got, the better it is. Now, I want to get in here and whip this away a little bit and get into my foot. So, I had a vernier here, safely put down, buried, because I threw everything on my little table for my tenon. So, is it a tenon? No, it's not a tenon, is it? Mortise. Mortise tenon spigot, I called it. I want about 46mm. So I'm just going to mark left point, scribe the line, right point stays away from the wood. And I want my left line to line up with my right thing. Once I get to where I want, I give the left leg an extra push, and then that gives me, I'll put a pencil on there and you'll be able to see it better. That gives me my diameter from a spigot. I'm going to come in here, and now we're just going to come across there and build a little bit of wood up in there. Probably be able to get a little bit more speed on there now. So we're up to around about 600, 650, something like that. I'm just going to pick the cut up. Side camera out a bit. That's in a bit. That's out a bit. Should we just go over to key off camera 2? How's that? What do we do? That even. Just feeding the tool along the tool rest. Just bring it up close to that line. We'll sort that out in a minute. I'll just go pick up another one here. Bring this along. That's going to be our foot. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of that for my mortise. Spigot. Lift the handle as I go. Somewhere around there. And I've got a little foot now. So now I'm just going to finish my shape this way. Now, if you've got a rotating headstock, it's far easier, rather than leaning across the lathe bed, to let that off, pull that out, slide that down there, bring that out there, lock that down there, and now we're not having to lean across the lathe bed. Bring me tool rest out here, bring that a bit closer. And you see, it just makes it easier. It's better on the camera as well, isn't it? Till my shoulder gets in the way. Now I should be able to do this. So I'm just going to bring this around now, this way. Back of the bevel rub. And I just push the gouge around. When I get to here, I I just twist my body back into the lathe and we start forming an OG. Back in towards the lathe. Feed the gouge through my fingers and we start getting this bit of shape. I'm just going to come one more here. Just the angle a bit as I come round. Into the curve. Back to the lathe. And we start getting our shape. I'm just going to check that on the side. Yeah, it's cool. So back onto here, back of the bevel, handle towards me. Back to the lathe. It's all a pivot with the hips. I just want to check this. Right, so I want this to roll into my foot. Now my foot's going to get stopping me from getting right in here. So I just move the tool rest out. I just pick this up. A lot lighter cut this time. Want a bit heavier cut as I go back, so I lift the handle. Somewhere there. Okay, remember I've got to take a few mil off of the ridge because I've got a little split in the wood that I don't want. And now I want to tie this curve, so this curve flows nicely around this way, just into that foot. So all I'm going to do is work the other way, just pick up a very light cut here, and then all I do is twist away from the lathe. And make me foot curve there, so it just curves in. Got a little line there I want to get rid of. I just pick up the cut, back of the bevel, nothing's cut in. And when I want to pick the cut up, I just lean the tool just slightly towards the lathe. Little twist. Raise the handle. Drop the handle as I come round there. I just twist away. And that will do me. There's just a little mark there that I want to get rid of so we're not sanding too much. So I'm just going to use the wing of the tool and brush that out. That's that. That's brushed out. Now, I've got to check for my spigot that this is flat, the foot, because we're going to use that as our shoulder. And I've torn my grain out there where I was just ripping it along. So I shall get that smooth in just a moment with it so far. So we're flat, but we're torn grain, so we don't want that. So I'm just going to literally a couple of fine cuts along this face. Thing when you're working with ash, it's red, stop. It's quite a fibrous wood, so you can get a lot of tear out quite quickly. And that's torn out a bit too much on that foot for my liking. We can tidy it up when we finish it off completely. and we reverse it to get rid of our spigot. Somewhere there. That's better. A little bit in there, but that will go when we get into there. Oh, there's a little bit there. We don't want that. Let's just get that. So I'm just going to pick that up and come the other way there. Oh, flip my gouge. Lose that on there. Now just pick up a very light cut back there. Have a couple of lines in it that I didn't want. They'll sand out. So I don't want to sand forever here. I'm just brushing the gouge around there to get rid of those marks. Now I want to do my mortise spigot.
You called it a tenon.
Tenon's a socket, isn't it? I never know. So I can just come in here and use my skew to the line. Last one into there, and then we just adjust that so we're more at the angle of our jaws. And I've got some fibres along the top that I want to get rid of. Pick that up there, run that into the middle. Make sure I haven't lost my centre mark there. This is only about 5mm deep, and I'm not quite flat in the middle there, so I'm just going to come in there. I'm not worried about the rest of the foot. It's the bit that the jaws are going to settle on. Lift and twist there, and then we'll just check this, make sure she's flat where we want it to be, flat where we want it to be, flat there. Make sure that's clean enough. Right, that should do us. Okay, so we've got an OG shape on the outside. There's the outside of our bowl. Now, pick up the right chuck here would help. I just want to let this off, open the jaws up, put this in and make sure we're running true. If not, I'll just remount it. Into there, firm hand on the right, pushing it into the jaws. There it's pinched up, quarter of a turn, that will be enough to grip it. Stand out the line of fire and say to Karen, catch this if it comes off the lathe. And green button, turn it on, turn it up. And she's running true on the back. That's all we're interested in. We're not worried about this, because we haven't touched that yet. Just a little bit out there. Just a little bit out. I don't know why that's a little bit out. Because it's not in the jaws properly. We did this the other week. What's it gripping on? I've got some loose fibres. I'll bring that up. There. You see these loose fibres? Those loose fibres are catching against the chuck and just pushing it out. So they need to be cleaned off. Get that on there. It's the beauty of this. I can just turn that around. Let's get rid of them fibres. bring this up here, bring the tool rest up higher. I just want to pick these up and clean them off. Maybe a bit more speed in there. Just brushing them away. There's still a couple there, right in the corner. Let's just get in there like that. Lift the handle, little tilt over. Make sure that's nice and clean. That looks better. I could always cut down like that. Yeah, you can use a parting tool if you want, whatever floats your boat. There isn't a got to do it this way, got to do it that. Different people use different techniques. Whatever works for you. Let me open this up now, see if that fixes our problem. Pinch it up, quarter of a turn. Jaws are sitting square. So, turn the speed down, turn it up. Oh, it's made it worse. What is going on there? I don't want to be triple turning this, so something. Take them safety glasses off. Put some glasses on, Oliver. Put some glasses on, you might be able to see something then in front of your nose. Right, here's some glasses. Let's see what's going on. Not quite right in there. There's a bit of rubbish in there. Right. Third time lucky. This is what I should have done the other week when we was doing the off-centre bowl, is when it weren't running right, made sure that we had it right to start with. So now what I'm going to do, take them off, do that, do this, turn that up a little bit. I'm just going to come in here. Take the smallest amount off of there. Clean that up. Got to say, ash is not my favourite wood, but it works well for what we're about to do. So pinch it up, quarter of a turn. Let's see how we are now. You shouldn't be able to get a £5 note between the face of your jaws and the wood. Don't look like I can. In our new lockdown world, don't carry cash anymore, do you? There's no need. It's all online. Right. Let's try that. It's still not perfect. I'll just tidy that up from the other way. So I'm just going to bring this around, bring this back, lock that down. I'm going to bring the tool rest round to the back. Let's come, where are we on? Overhead. Oh, not that one, not that one. Let's try that one. Overhead, you can't really see that. I'll move that camera around a bit. Let me just adjust this, adjust that. I pushed the wrong camera on it. Camera one. No, I can't get that behind there. Oh, trust me, it's behind there. I'm just gonna whip the gouge around the back to knock out this little bit of speed, bit of vibration through the lathe. Lathe's vibrating a bit. Turn the speed down. Just moving the gouge around the back, refining this shape a little bit. That's it. Yeah, that's got it now. When I teach, I don't teach this way because I don't think it's a good idea to teach someone turning in towards a chuck when they're first starting out. Because metal against metal don't work too well. That's it, that's tidied that up.
There's a double U.
Eh?
You've got double U from the two cameras coming somewhere.
Two cameras going somehow.
You haven't got the Oliver's Woodturning logo.
How's that? That's the camera I wanted for you just now. You would have seen that. So let me just come back. So what I was doing is I was picking up my cut here, following my shape in the opposite way to what I was going just now. Back in on this curve. Then back in. You won't see it because of the shaving, but I'm back into my foot. Just all a pivot. There. So I've got my shape back. It was a bit out. There's something going on with me mounting, but we're all good now. And there. So what I want to do now is just sand this up. Because I've gone the wrong way, I've got a bit of torn grain there that I've got to get rid of, otherwise we're going to be sanding all day. So I'm just going to come the right way with the grain support, and now I'm using the wing of the tool on a sort of shear straight to tidy that mess up. Just roll the wing over, bring it around. These are very fine shavings. There's just a little bit of chatter through the tool because I'm trying to do it real light, just to take off as if we were using, still a bit there. Alright. Get back in there. Using the wing of the tool, I'm just brushing this backwards and forwards. Tidy that little problem up, otherwise I'll be here with sanding sealer and sandpaper and a brick and all sorts. We don't want that. You just want to get rid of them loose fibres. If you're going to colour something, your surface has got to be right. Let's try that. Still a bit rough in now. If I come in here. I'm just brushing this backwards and forwards, following my curve round. Let's try that. It's deeper than I thought for that. Nearly got it. It must be a real loose bit of grain. It's broken out. Not very good. Right. Okay. We'll be there forever. So now I'm going to turn the front away. I'll come back to that bit in a minute. What I will do is probably try and glue that grain up. Hold on a second. Bit of sanding sealer. Right, the grain's quite loose there. I want loose grain for the colour, but I don't want it torn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this front off. So let's come back over to camera 2. We're going to turn this front off, but while I'm doing that, I'm just going to put some pre-thinned sanding sealer into that loose bit of grain, because I'm doing very light cuts and it's not playing ball. So I've got some pre-thinned 50/50 cellulose sanding sealer and cellulose thinners. I'll keep it made up in a bottle. The reason it's thinned like that is so it sinks down further into the grain, and I'm just dabbing it in a nasty little area there. I'm getting that dabbed into there, and what that'll do is that'll soak into the fibres and glue them together. So just dabbing it right in there. You want to give it a good coating right into the fibre. It's only one little area. Let's dab that into there. It's all sunk in. Put that down there. Put that down there. And we'll start on the front. So we're going to turn away probably about 4 or 5 mil here off the face, purely because we've got a couple of little splits in the blank. I use all the best wood. Then we get a bit more speed into there. Right, run it across. Ooh. That was a bang, wasn't it? Oh, I just ripped up the edge of the grain. So that's better. I was a bit fierce with my tool. Feed the gouge across the face. Lift the handle as you go. Keep it cutting on centre. Let's see if we got rid of our split. No, it's still there. That one side's gone, but still got a split in this side, so we need to take a few more mil off. Not worried about the centre, that'll be coming out in a bit. Crunch out that way, out the way. Just that split I want to get rid of. That looks like it's got it. That's got her. Right. So, now, see this piece of wood, the way it's bouncing so much is it's got a very light area, and even that cut has pulled the grain out the front here. So now I'm going to have to come and pick up a real gentle cut. See what that's done to it. There's still a little bit there. It's really light bit of ash, this, like turning a softwood. It's going to work well for our project. Red stop, red stop. That's got it. Right, so that's that bit. That doesn't look too bad. Now, we'll just give this a tool sharpen. So, let's see if this works for you. We come over to that and drop that. Right, there we go. We've bodged up the camera on the Pro Edge. So, all I'm going to do on my grind is I slide it into the jig. I use the 40, which I think gives me a sort of 50-degree grind, third hole, long grind. On the belt, roll to the left, roll back to the right, and I find that I have to just tease the barrel along the shaft just a little bit there, and that will give us a nice fresh edge razor sharp. Okay, now bit of adjustment. I needed to click a few buttons and make up a macro, I think, for yeah, I'll just bring that there and bring that back up there. Right, okay, so we turn that back on. We're on the right camera. Trying to get a little bit of speed into this. The laser's vibrating because the balance of the grain is quite light. I just want a real brush. You can see what I'm brushing away there is real fine, ultra fine stuff. That's better. So, that's our front. Now let's have another go at our back. So if I turn that off, come to that one, you've got an overhead shot. And I've just got this bit of torn grain that's causing me grief on the back. So I'm just going to get in there to there. Lock it all down because I'm near the chuck. That's got it. And this is little patch just here. So, what's that all about? Can you see that? Hope not.
I'm behind you.
Eh?
I'm behind you in time.
Right, okay. So now, where I just put in that sanding sealer, just going to tease this gouge around here. Don't want to go too much, because all I'm trying to do is get rid of that torn grain. As I roll this around here, I just twist my wrists a little bit, just the angle of the cut. Nearly, just a tad. I'm just going to try and pick up the towel, tip of the tool. You won't see anything coming off here. It's so light. Bevel engaged.
What bowl gouge are you using and what angle is it?
Well, the grind I use 40 on the Pro set, 45 rather, which I think it gives it about a 50-degree bevel angle. It doesn't much matter. This is the Hamlet 3/8 bowl gouge. I normally use 3/8 bowl gouges. Very rare do I use anything. Well, I do use 1/2 inch, and I've got 3/4, but I don't use them very much. Because you're only cutting off, realistically, you're only cutting off a very, very small amount of the tip. Let's zoom that in a bit. Right, let's zoom it into here. Yeah, let's get the gouge into the picture. I always go the wrong way. So if you see the gouge there, when I cut, I'm literally cutting off of the front couple of mil just under the tip in either direction. I use the wing, the full cutting length for that, when I'm sort of scraping the surface away, shear scraping the surface away. So you can manipulate the tool with a little twist and a little lift and drop to do what you want it to do. So I think that's got it roughly where I want to be. I'm just going to whack the old extractor on. Hey? Yeah, okay. Well, you wouldn't have seen me zooming the extractor back on. So, we've got the extraction on over the lathe. Tilt this one a little bit. There's that. There. So, all we're going to do now, nothing exciting, is quick sand. Make sure it be way. Around here too much. Turn it on, get that tool rest out of my way, get my ruler out of the way. Turn this on, a little bit of speed in it, along the front. round the back. Just that extractor down there a bit. What's happened there then? Yeah. So the first grit is just removing any tool marks. More importantly, that bit of torn grain. Bring that round there. Let's have a look how that looks. Little mark there. We're only going to sand to about 320. This bit's going to do the work, and then the others are just a quick wipe over in just a minute. Front looks alright. Back looks alright. Little mark there. See if we can get rid of that. Right, there's a little mark in there. I'm going to leave the mark in and it will demonstrate, otherwise we're going to be here tidying that up for a while. What goes wrong if you don't get rid of the marks with a bit of colour, so that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Now just flick through a couple of grits here, only to 320 to do us. All this is doing is removing the sanding lines now of the grit before. I thought to myself, that's not picking up a lot of dust. I had the gate, another gate open to me planer, so I wasn't getting full suction at this end. That's better. I can see the dust coming away from me now. This is why you should always have a dust mask on. I've got a decent extraction system in here, but there's still a lot of dust. If I'm in the workshop for a while, I've got a Trend Air Shield Pro. Well, I've got a couple, and we use them. They give you good protection. I've got a 3M one as well, VersaFlow. That probably gives you the best protection, I would think. Right, so we'll call that sanded up. Now, this is very, very, very simple and simplistic. You can use whatever colour you like. So I've got a green, I've got a chestnut. Let's come over camera 2 and we zoom that one way or t'other, zoom that out a little bit. We've got a bit of a problem there on the background. Well, see if I can adjust that out. I won't bother messing about adjusting that out. So I've just got a chestnut spirit stain green. You use blues, reds, you can use acrylic water-based colours, you use whatever colour you like. And we're just going to cover this piece in one colour. Ah, right. Green screens don't work when you're doing this. How's that? You see the green screen now? Right. So, I should have picked a different colour really. I weren't thinking about that, was I? Got a green screen, use green. Make the wood invisible, make it disappear. That's a good trick. Let's do that then. He's made the wood disappear. He's a magician. The edge as well. I'm going to do the back. Karen sits still too long, she's going to get covered green as well. Some green over the back. You can't see this on the camera, but just whack the green on there. Splash it on all over. Who remembers that? Brute. Splash it on all over. Who was it? Henry Cooper. Splash it on all over. Sure she's well covered. There. Now with the open grain, it's gone in a bit darker in areas. I don't know how well the camera picks that up, but darker in areas, but that's fine. Chuck that down there, pick that up later, put that over there so I can knock it on the floor later. So, there's our cover. Now, speed the process up. You guessed it, Mrs. Oliver's hair dries out again. Plug in the socket. The spirit stains don't take very long to dry naturally, but for demos they're quite good because get a hairdryer or something on them and we can get them dried off quite quickly. Right, that should be dry enough. Drop that down there. So now I've got a little brass brush. All I'm going to do is go with the grain with it. There. Same on the outside. do. And then the secret weapon. A Chestnut Products liming wax, and we're going to come over it with a liming wax. Don't use that bit of paper towel, that's a dirty bit of paper towel, get a clean bit, no expense spared. Might help if I clean these safety glasses really. We're going to rub this in here. Now some of the green's coming off so it won't properly dry. Do the rim. Do the back. Work this in. Worked in the front. See where my paint weren't dry, I've got a bit of green on my paper towel. Ayo. Ayo as they say. Ayo. Right, so throw that down there, that'll sweep up the shaving. And now I've got a liming brush, just a brass brush, and I brush this through here. And the white will pick up on the grain. Brush with the grain. Brush that edge in. Like cleaning your shoes. Anybody clean their shoes these days? Give that another coat on the front. What it does is it picks up in the light open grain. Make that a bit more camera friendly. I should have thought about the colour a bit more really. Should have used the blue or red. That would have worked. Going across the grain with a liming wax so it gets in, circular motion, whatever way you want. Want that to get into that open grain. coat looking better than the first. I've been a bit light with it the first time. Plaster it on. I think I used my liming brush on verdigris wax last time and never cleaned it out. It's all waxy green. Wipe over. Better. Now we're getting there. Same on that side. More like it. Okay, so now we'll just cut our bowl into the front here. You can build this liming wax up and do several coats. Don't use a liming brush with probably better off putting it on with a brush actually. With verdigris wax all over it, that wouldn't work so well. Right, lock that down, put the old safety bins on, turn the lathe on. Now we just put our bowl in the middle. I'm just twisting away from the lathe to get my curve in. Back of the bevel, lean forward, tip scores, twist my wrist. More. It's feeling a bit crunchy as it's cutting. Another gouge. Just going to pick up a little cut here. see I've got a line in here, so I just want to do a very light cut. Come back to there, and then you've got, well, that's the green screen again. That don't work at all, does it? Green screen. Let's turn that. I can't turn that off. I know what I can do. One, two, three. Right. Let's turn the green screen off. That'll give you more of an idea. There. So you can see the white coming up against the green. That looks blue because of the camera and the green screen, but it is a green. And you can't really see the white, but the white's now showing through the light grain, and I don't know how well this is going to pick this up, but there was a little bit of torn grain what I was trying to get rid of just in here. You can't really see that with the reflection, but there's a little bit of torn grain just in there, and you can see it a million miles off when you look at it, so that would have to be tidied up, and it will get tidied up. I'll just do another pass on that a bit later on, but that's a simple way to colour. You can use, and unfortunately it didn't show up well on the camera. Let's try. There. Is that better? The lighting, it's not, you can see it there, hopefully. You've got a green and a white line coming through to highlight the open grain. You can build up, cut more coats and make it more definition there. Use your liming brush to get it, work it into the grain, a few coats, but then by doing that and then just cutting your bowl out afterwards, and then give that a little polish up, and you've got yourself there. You can just see there's the torn grain, that dark area there where the stain's not sunk in properly, but that's a way to highlight your bowls with just a simple colour and some liming wax. So it was fairly quick this morning. Hope you've enjoyed that. We'll go back to intro. Thank you very much, Pat, very kind of you. About £1,000. Don't know. 1628 maybe when they come up, but they might fetch. They might fetch 1,200 plus. You could look at some of the old stuff. There's a pullwood with variable speed when it comes up. That's quite a big chunk, but they're old mechanical sort of lathes. But there's a pullwood with variable speed comes up. The Apollo, that comes up now and again. They're a big chunky lathe, variable speed, rotating headstock. Try and look for variable speed rotating headstock. If you want to do really big bowls, save up a bit more. Get yourself 2.5, 3 grand together and get a VB36. There's nothing you can't put on one of them. I've got some serious chunks of wood that I've put on mine. They're rock solid. and they come up now 2.5, 3 grand, something like that. So yeah, it all depends, you know. You're gonna to get a real serious heavy lathe, you're gonna have to go a lot older with a grand. You know, if you 1628, see, I say 1,000, they've gone up quite a bit in lockdown. You'd be lucky to pick probably a 1628 up for 1,400 quid or something. You know, you're sort of 1,400s. You'd be more the old Paul Woods. Trying to think what else there is. See, a lot of them are just fixed heads and that. I'd go variable speed and that sort of thing. That was a bit of waffle, but let me think about it. Drop me an email and I'll have a think. That it all depends on what you call big as well. Right, people. Hope you've enjoyed your morning. Thank you very much for your donations. If you've enjoyed your morning, hit the old like button. That helps the channel. The more likes I can get on the channel, the better it is. So just hit the like button for us. You're doing me a favour there. I hope you've enjoyed your morning. It was a quick project because we've got some bits and pieces that we've got to be doing before it rains. We'll be back. I don't know if we'll get back again next week. Actually, I've got something I've got to do, but I'll see. We'll get a new system plumbed in over here and all the rest of it, so we've got more camera angles and that sort of stuff. Thank you all for stopping by. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed, share it out to your friends, all that sort of stuff helps. I look forward to entertaining you again next week or the week after. We'll see how things plumb out. If there's any more questions, fire away quickly. If not, I'm going to go and disappear. Get on. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thumbs up if you can do it. We've got 90 odd people and 50 thumbs up. Good, glad you enjoyed it. Just a simplistic sort of demo this morning to get you started on a bit of colour. So, everybody, have a good bank holiday weekend and enjoy the rain. Not going to be sitting outside the pub on Monday by the sounds of things. Definitely not down south. I don't know what it's like up north. Not unless you want to sit there in your sou'wester and a nice hat and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that might be good. Right. Okay. I am going to disappear. That's another Saturday morning over from me. Yes, Nigel. That's the problem, isn't it? 90 odd people watching, 50 thumbs up. Hey-ho. I can only ask. A milk paint. The only one I've ever messed around with, I think one from Wits is that if you want to try a milk paint. I've got this stuff. This is Folk Flirt or something. Folk Flirt. You see that on the camera? There, Folk Flirt. Milk paints. Any of them will work though, I'm sure. I've only got that one because I think Karen bought it for me. It's a Christmas present. Thanks, Stuart. Yeah, I've just temporarily rigged in a webcam over the Pro Edge. I've got another, when I bring the other ATEM over here, I've got another camcorder to go into the system. So there'll be 4 camcorders and all that sort of stuff. Thank you, Michael. Thanks, everybody. Thank you all for stopping by. Hope you've enjoyed it. I am going to disappear now. Turn the extractor off. Clear this mess up later. Have a good weekend. It's a bank holiday weekend, so don't go to work Monday morning, don't have to do that. And I will see you next Saturday or the Saturday after. I'll let you know. Have a good time. Thanks for stopping by. Goodbye.